Welcome back. Today I actually want to talk about Dalia Chih. I feel like a lot of us already know of her. I remember كنت صغير كانت في Arabs Got Talent.
لها في هاد المسابقة عربس جوت تالنت راح بعيد وسي
And she made a lot of waves online. Her audition for Arabs Got Talent has millions upon millions of views. She had a really good voice. People really loved her. And it seemed like she was set up to be one of the biggest stars that Algeria has ever seen. And then she just didn't. Like, she never reached those highs. To this day, she never did. And I don't know if she ever will. And that begs the question, what happened? Why did she never reach those highs? And will she ever reach those highs? I will give a quick disclaimer بس على بالي بتحبوا يزيدوا عليها. When I say the rise and fall of Dalia Chih, when I say the fall specifically, I don't mean like she's irrelevant or, she still has a lot of followers on Instagram, good engagement. Me and my 200 views per video could never. So don't take it too seriously. It's just a title. Anyways, let's get on to the video.
You got me begging you for now, yeah.
I would have liked to start with like the upbringing of Dalia Chih, but she hasn't done a lot of interviews, at least the ones I could find. And so I don't know a lot about her upbringing. I can give you like a brief summary. زادت في ألجي من بعد رحت لتيبازا ومن بعد after events we will discuss later. I'm a real YouTuber now, giving you like suspense and shit. She moved back to Alger and then she went to America for a year and she lives in Spain now. So for me, like, there's not a lot to talk about when it comes to her upbringing. I mostly want to talk about the rise, like how did Dalia Chih get famous? In her season Arabs Got Talent, I don't know if you know this, بصح ما كانوش يديروا auditions في الجزائر. مور العام تحبش ولا يديروا auditions في الجزائر. So that means that her parents took her to another country to do the auditions. I don't know which country it was. I couldn't find like the actual episode. I just نحس عليه. So her parents took her to another country so she auditioned it too. Which from that you can make two conclusions. First of all, they're kind of well off. Can't relate. Second of all, her parents are really supportive of her. Really can't relate. Seriously, she did the auditions, she was really young, and she made a lot of waves online. Deja Pasco, she was the only Algerian who made it, and she was so young and she had such a good voice. People were really drawn to her and they were really interested in her story and what was going to happen to her. And since her videos had millions upon millions of views, people were really interested in her. She even had a Facebook page après, and now it's hacked and it's gone. But look at it, she used to have a Facebook page. And I feel like when she was in Arabs Got Talent, as the representative to Zaire, in a way, I guess, and as a lot of people really liked her, she was given such a big platform, and all she had to do was just make good music and just go from there. But then it just didn't happen. Now you'd expect me to talk about her music, but before she even started to make music, she had like a scandal, which I'm using scandal, but I really should be using like she was publicly harassed by thousands upon thousands of people في الجزائر. Basically, كانت the meme ما بالش تفاعلها تاع داليا شيح قبل التحلاب وبعد التحلاب. Which that was basically people حكموا لي فوتو تاعها كانت صغيرة قبل ما تدير Arabs Got Talent, which كي دارت Arabs Got Talent she was young. تسمى شغل even younger pictures and they like shared them online وشغل داليا شيح قبل التحلاب. And I'm not really going to show you like the full pictures because I don't really feel comfortable having pictures of minors on my channel, especially when they were used in such like a malicious way. So I don't really want to do that. But just keep in mind that happened. And I feel like that thing that happened stemmed from like jealousy. If you watch my video على وردة شالومونتي, I talked about this thing where people will not hate you if they think they're better than you. And I feel like Dalia Chih is a perfect example of someone who is better than them. Like, I mean, she's attractive as an older person, not as the kid. And she's obviously kind of smart. She's well off. She has a good voice and she's successful. She's confident. So people automatically did not like her. And they didn't like her for those reasons specifically. There are other reasons why I don't particularly love her. We'll talk about those later. But just keep in mind that at the time, she just started. Like, there was no reason to dislike her altogether. But people did because they were mostly jealous. So they tried to bring her down by posting her older pictures, And honestly, I can only wonder what kind of psychology that plays into a child's mind, seeing like thousands of people making fun of you, joking about you, posting your pictures. Honestly, I don't even want to think how that would affect me as a person. So for me, I feel like she did Arabs Got Talent she was really praised and adored. And then quickly after, she was turned against for no reason, just because she was different, aka she was like better than average. That's at least my perception of what happened. Maybe there is something else that I'm missing, but I really feel like the main reason why people quickly turned on her was because they were kind of like jealous of her. After a lot of the memes and a lot of the harassment, this actually transferred into her regular life, and even in her school. People were like bullying her and like throwing food at her et tout.
J'avais les cheveux bouclés, du coup tout le monde m'insultait, enfin tout le monde m'appelait le caniche ou je sais pas quoi, ou mouton. Et on m'a brûlé les cheveux, du coup ça m'a touchée, on m'a jeté de la nourriture sur moi en pleine cantine. Et j'ai tenu un mois, les 2 dernières semaines, je me souviens, je passais mes nuits à l'hôpital parce que je faisais des malaises à cause de ça.
So she had to literally like quit school, and that's when she went to America to like work on her music for a year.
Je suis partie aux États-Unis, je suis partie au lycée là-bas, c'était incroyable, tout le monde était content de recevoir quelqu'un d'une culture tout à fait différente, du coup c'était super.
Which I'm really glad she did, because I think that year where she was removed from that toxic environment was really needed for her, because it sounded very overwhelming. She went to America, stayed for a year, and then came back, where she went to another school. Her parents had to move places because of all the bullying she was enduring, so they went into another place. And as she says, قالت باللي in that place, it was good at first too, and then like this incident happens where some guys tried to take pictures with her, and they did, because she was really proud that people from her school were taking a picture with her. She shared it on her Facebook page, which was public at the time, and since she's hated in general, people were like insulting them in the comments. I don't know التحلاب يعني too. So those guys from the pictures like and like they harassed her.
Le jour où j'ai été agressée et qu'on m'a envoyée à l'hôpital, le prof s'est dégonflé et il est parti. Il m'a laissé. Il m'a laissé, il y avait un mec qui me tenait par la gorge et il m'a pris la tête, il a cogné contre le mur, donc c'est le dernier souvenir que j'ai. Et il s'est cassé, le prof, il s'est cassé. Donc on peut rien faire.
And as she says, this was like the last point where she decided to like remove herself from the school environment at home, which I'm glad she made that decision. I'm glad her parents made that decision. I am so happy for her that she has parents that are very supportive and very understanding, where she felt comfortable enough to be able to speak with them about these things. And I'm so glad they intervened. I think it was a really horrible thing that happened to her. She even says that like the teacher that was there kind of ran away, which is really fucking shitty. I think a lot of people don't really do their jobs, but in this specific instance, I really sympathize with her a lot. I've always thought that she had a pretty rough time مع les Algériens en général, because I think that Algerian people online can be pretty toxic. Like, go into any famous person's comments and you find a lot of like nasty comments, especially like the women and العباد اللي مش متحجبين too. Like, it's always like so toxic. تروحوا للنار ديروا هذه, and it's like, bro, like why don't you like focus on your life for a change? So I can only imagine like the kind of harassment she endured at the time and the kind of harassment she endures to this day. So after الباك, her producers الأمريكان جاب لها a scholarship to study in Spain.
Et un jour, je reçois un appel de mon producteur américain qui me dit j'ai une bourse d'études pour toi en Espagne et j'aimerais te l'offrir.
Which then she moved from Algeria to Spain to study, which I think was a great opportunity. I am so happy that she was able to leave like indefinitely this kind of really toxic environment. Like, I am truly, truly so happy for her. And in this regard, like, I think in the public sphere, I can never like say like, you know, she's shitty too, because I think she was dealt a pretty bad hand. I think people really didn't like her for who she was. Surtout que هذاك الوقت she started being famous around like 2012. And like 2012 was a hard time to be different. I remember like I used to like listen to K-pop in middle school and people used to like, you know, like bully me for it. And now it's all the rave. I am still very bitter about that. So as I was saying, I think that she came at the wrong time in a way. Like, at the time, people were really, really not accepting of people like her. So I think if she had her big break like around this time, it would be better received. She would still get hate. People will always hate you. But I think she would have had a lot more support as well. So I think that's a factor why she never really reached the highs she could have reached. Because 2012, like, people were like horrible. Like, Anestina كان مازال يدير هذاك الفيديو تاعها. That's how bad she was.
طلعت بينك green blue والخطر في ماليبو with high heels and Joe. احنا انتيك يقولوا.
onto the muse. I am gonna do my best not to like bully this girl because I feel like she's already been through a lot in this life, so I really don't want to be someone to add to all of that. But at the same time, what the fuck is that music, girl? I feel like a lot of us already know الغاز يطلع للراس. Like, come on. We know it's iconic, it's infamous, it should have never happened. We all know it. That song is probably like top 3 worst songs في الجزائر. كاين هي، كاين شي بالنعناع، وكاين شعري طرطق على صاحبي. Like these 3 are like, maybe you should have kept it in the draft for something. And the thing is, the song, like, I get it. Like, Dalia Chih is like someone who used to sing in English and shit. So for me, like, I feel like she tried to do something, a mix of, you know, whatever Algerian music is, mixed with like pop. But like she took like the worst of both worlds and made it into a song. And the lyrics are like, and it's like, what are we doing here? Après le video, it's like her تروح الحاسبة or some store of that nature. And then she goes into like الحفافة, but she goes with the same hair she leaves with. Like if you're gonna تصبغي شعرك rose, au moins شغل like in the beginning of the video like go with regular hair and then like make the transition كي تدخلي عند الحفافة كي تخرجي, it's like, oh, this big reveal or something. Like not even that, like what the hell. Like she goes with the exact hairstyle she goes out with. It makes no sense. So I feel like overall, like it is a terrible debut, especially the fact that this was her first song. And since even though people hated her, I feel like a lot of people were looking at her. So for whatever she does, she was gonna get hate. But if the song was good, she would have gotten a lot of praise as well. But the song was really terribly received, and I feel like she knows that. كي تروح لفيديو تشوف باللي likes and dislikes are disabled, comments are disabled. I can only imagine what those comments were, honestly. And worst of all, she was hated by the worst people you can be hated by online. 12-year-olds. I swear to God, like 12-year-olds are like, I would rather be hated by everyone else but those 12-year-olds online. Because those 12-year-olds, فارغين شغل. They don't have a job, they don't have a life, they have nothing going on. And you can't even be like, well, you need to get a job. Like they're 12. But they will send you death threats, they will hate on you, they will make videos about you. A lot of the videos that were made about her at the time, ما كانش هم دوكا. But you can see like some clips. I'll just put the thumbnails. Again, I don't want minors on my channel. But at the same time, a lot of kids made fun of her and a lot of people watched those videos and made fun of her even more. And it was just like this ongoing cycle of hate. And I thought, I thought as a collective, we all agreed that this was a bad song and a bad move. But then when she talks about it, he says this.
Après Penguin Blue, كان بزاف ناس ما كانوش يعرفوني ولا يعرفوني grâce à cette chanson. Donc نمدلها 7,5. Un vide.
7,5.
Même si c'est un bad buzz. بصح أنا pour moi, je reste fière de cette chanson وما ندمتش. لو كان ولي للدور نعاود ندير Penguin Blue بالك encore plus extravagant que ça. Avec بالك كاع
Ça fait qu'on capable نشوفوا Penguin Blue ولا Yellow Blue je sais pas quoi.
بالك قريب.
And honestly, I was kind of confused when she says this. When she's like, well, because of the song, a lot of people knew of me. Parce que for me, in my head, I always thought like, no, عرفناك من Arab's Got Talent. And then you did this, and it flopped. You say, بصح هي, she says this. So I even like did sondage on my Instagram story to see like, am I wrong about this? And like an overwhelming majority like voted بلي عرفوها من Arab's Got Talent. And even some اللي votaوا like عرفوها from her music. بعثوا لي قالوا غلطنا, we meant Arab's Got Talent. So keep in mind like the percentage اللي عرفوها from her music is even lower. And that doesn't even include only that song, it includes all of her discography, all 5 songs. يعني مش just so you have an idea that like either her perception of reality is very skewed or she's just saying shit to say shit. Like I'm not sure which one of the two it is. But either way, the song was a flop. It was a terrible idea. It should have never happened. And that's just that on that. Later on, she made Onya in Turkish and Andalusi. It was somewhat well received as far as I can tell. And then she kind of took like a hiatus. And then she made her song that I actually listen to sometimes, Comment Faire. That song is okay. What's interesting about the song is that she has like this weird accent going on. And I just love the idea. Her talking to her producer and then him telling her like, Dalia, كان عندك شعرك بوكلي دو كان حياتي تسمى, can you like put on a fake African accent pour équilibrer? You look full on white right now. Dalia Chih really said properly enunciating the lyrics is for losers. I'm gonna mumble that shit. But seriously though, that song is kind of good. It's just a bit odd parce que she's always been like, I'm different, I don't give a fuck. But then like when she makes the song, it's like such a big shift from where she was, and she just made like commercial French rap singing thing, you know, like Marwa Loud and those. Like it's very that, you see. So it's a bit jarring to see it, especially from someone who's like, I don't give a fuck what people think about me. I'm gonna do my thing, and then she just shifts. So for me, like I feel like perhaps like this is her way of like actually trying to get into the market, which props to you. Or maybe she really likes this kind of music. Who knows? I'm not gonna speculate further than this. It's just a bit interesting to see this shift from like her original style. That's all. And she also made a little bit of audio songs here and there, but nothing that was really interesting or that made a big of an impact. And I feel like she was really disadvantaged in her music because she started making music at an early age. Wududu, I feel like the style that she went to of Arabs Got Talent, which is, you know, like American, kind of like old, day two, could have never worked for Zaire at the time. Look, maybe there's like a bigger market for it because a lot more people listen to like American music for Zaire, especially like the younger generation. But هذاك الوقت was like, it was not gonna happen, you see. So I feel like no matter what she would have done, it wouldn't have worked. Tamahi, I feel like they tried to make like an Algerian version of like an American song, but they just did like the worst of both worlds. Like it's just not a good song. And I feel like a lot of people attempt that style, but very few manage to make it successfully. I feel like the only person who really manages to make like good mix between like foreign and North African is Manal. If you know Manal, like she has great music, she's a great artist. And I feel like Manal succeeded where Dalia Chih failed. You see what I mean? But I feel like if she wants to succeed when it comes to her music, I feel like she needs to maybe rebrand a little. She's already rebranding. Maybe if she sticks to this style and just promotes it hard enough, she can reach a bigger audience. But I'm not sure if that many people are still interested in hearing from her. Okay, so here we're going to talk about like Dalia Chih's character, at least the public perspective's character. Like, because I don't know her personally, I've only watched her interviews and seen some of her posts. So what I tell you now is how people see her and not necessarily who she is as a person. So it doesn't mean she is that person. I just mean that she comes across as that person. So let's just not like leave anyone hate or like say anything rude about anyone. Let's just talk and just have a conversation. I've said it before that like people يشوفوا حسب روحها too because they're kind of jealous of her, which is true. I do believe that 99% of the people اللي يقولوا عليها حسب روحها are jealous. surtout هذاك الوقت, like she was like 14, she hadn't done anything. كيفاش حسب روحها, you say. But sadly, شوية like شوية حسب روحها. Like there was this interview where like Honika is like pretending to be a hater and like reading her hate comments, and this is how she responds.
خطرة ديري شعرك خضر, خطرة صفر, خطرة فيولي, خطرة البيروكا, وشنو؟
دوك نقول لك انا جو سوي ارتيست.
والارتيست يدير هكا؟
اسناي
فهمت
انا ارتيست. بون كل واحد كيفاش، شاك ارتيست كيفاش. بصح انايا ان طونك ارتيست جو فوا او دولا دو لا سامبليسيتي.
صافي انت تفهمي خير منا.
لا سي ما جي با دي سا. بصح انايا ان طونك ارتيست جو فوا او دولا دو لا سامبليسيتي. انا نقدر نحكم دوكا شكاره تاع شكاره زبل بوبال نقطعها نديرها على حسابي وتقدر يولي لي ان اكسسوار دو مود. سي هذا هو الفن. ماكياج من كل حاجه فن.
And I don't know what she thinks she was giving, but it was not giving what she thinks she was giving. It just comes across as like very arrogant, and it comes across as like I am an artist, therefore like I am everything, when it's like, well, no, not really. Like, okay, you're an artist, but it doesn't mean like not everything is art because you call yourself an artist. You see what I mean? But it just comes across very, very arrogant. You see, I'm not saying she is arrogant. I don't know how she is as a person, but I am saying it comes across as arrogant, and I feel like we need to acknowledge that, and I feel like she needs to be aware of how she comes across. Like, I understand that you don't think you are that person, and maybe you're not, but just know that you sure as hell come across as that person. The second thing is, in one of the interviews, the interviewer asked, you get a lot of backlash because ما تغنيش بالعربية, تغني بالفرنسي, تغني بالانجلي, تغني باندلسي, تغني plusieurs langues et tout. قالت له بصح I don't care, like as an artist, which I swear to God she says artist more than she says her name. قالت له as an artist I get to choose the language I sing in et tout, and I agree, that's true.
Bah moi, enfin, en tant qu'artiste, j'ai le droit de choisir un petit peu le style de musique et la langue que je veux, voilà, que je veux faire. Donc voilà, j'ai voulu chanter en anglais parce que ça m'a toujours fait rêver de voyager aux États-Unis. C'était the American dream.
And then she says like, I don't care about the lyrics altogether. I care about the technicality and emoting the emotions.
En tant qu'artiste, je ne me concentre pas beaucoup sur les paroles. Parce que je suis quelqu'un de très technique aussi niveau musique, production, tout ça. Du coup, je me focalise beaucoup plus sur la mélodie, sur la sensibilité de la voix et l'émotion qu'on peut transmettre via notre voix. Donc voilà.
Which, first of all, you don't have to tell me you don't care about the lyrics. I could have guessed. Honestly, I'm not an artist or a lyricist, so I cannot give you like in-depth critical analysis of her songs. But at the same time, I'm someone who listens to music and I have like more than 3 brain cells. And I can tell you that her lyrics are garbage, you see. It's like, it's okay if you don't care that much about the lyrics, but it's kind of important. And this is the first time I've heard someone say like publicly as an artist, as she says, they don't care about lyrics altogether. Like this is kind of weird to me. But that's how I know like she doesn't really understand like what the public wants. I feel like she thinks what she wants is what's important. But at the same time, it's like you want to be famous, but you want to do just what you want and not what people want you to do. Because I feel like there is a compromise in between what you want as an artist and what the people want from you. And that middle ground is where you succeed. Like, I don't think you have to like shift all the way to something you don't want to do to succeed. But I think there is a middle ground between what you want and what the public wants. It was actually also in like a scandal. Like, honestly, I don't think it's a big deal because I don't care. بصح, a couple of years back, she sang the national anthem to American in the American embassy في الجزائر, which is cool, sure. But at the same time, you have to keep in mind that like Independence Day American is like 1 day before Independence Day الجزائر. So, you know, kind of sensitive, but whatever. Also, هذاك الوقت Donald Trump was president, so there was a lot of like, you know, like things politically. So it is a good thing that you want to show like unity and spreading love, which is what he said.
Pour moi, c'était un moyen de réunir ces deux pays au-delà des tensions.
At the same time, like, you know, like you have to understand that the choice is a big choice, you say. And then when the interviewer told her like, yeah, but Donald Trump and he's the president and he banned like several Muslim countries from entering America because of terrorism, she was like, well, I'm not political.
Je suis pas très très politique, je m'en fous. Le plus important pour moi, c'est juste de pouvoir réunir, je sais pas, plusieurs pays, plusieurs cultures.
Although like you sang the national anthem in the embassy in their Independence Day, so in a way, it is a political statement, which is what the interviewer told her.
Ouais, mais chanter comme tu l'as fait ce jour-là, le 4 juillet, est-ce que c'est pas une façon de faire de la politique en chanson?
I like the interviewer because I think he asked hard questions. He pressed on her when she, you know, she deflected from the questions. So I really like his interviewing style. So when he pushed her, this is her answer about like why she sang the national anthem.
Ouais, mais moi, c'est le rêve américain que j'ai en tête. Hein.
Like this is her answer, you see. And this is like where it's like, I lost all hope today.
I lost all hope today. I'm empty.
Like, I swear to God, you see, it's like, oh, my girl dumb. Like, my girl kind of stupid. Like, because for me, when I look at her and I see her history and I see all of what she's been through, I imagine her to be someone very interesting, you see. And then when I see her answering in these dumb ways, I'm like, oh, I give up on you. You see, I realize that I don't really like her character, you see. And it's not mostly because I think she's arrogant or anything. I don't vibe with her, you see. I expected something different because keep in mind that when I make these videos about specific people, I am not like too in-depth in their life, but I have a general idea and perception of them. And usually that perception doesn't really change through making the video. But this is the first time where I actually started making a video, really liking someone, and like finished the video being like, yeah, I don't really like her. Like, I swear to God, like how my opinion on her changed by the end of the research was weird. Like, I realized that like, yeah, I don't really like you. Like, I don't really enjoy your personality. I don't enjoy your music. I don't enjoy like anything specific about you. So it's like, eh. Another thing I want to talk about is the way she addresses specific topics. I feel like هي شغل عايشة في contradiction مع روحها, tu vois. It's like at the same time she's like, I'm gonna be myself, I don't give a fuck, I'm gonna have pink hair, I'm gonna do this and that, you see. And it's like, go for it, queen, you see. But then at the same time, like the interviewer, when he asked her about like, you know, people criticizing her for her hair, et tout, this is her answer.
Mais j'avais les cheveux très très bouclés et en Algérie, voilà, ils aiment bien tout ce qui est simple. Voilà, cheveux lisses, cheveux soit blancs, soit marrons. Donc, et moi, j'ai voulu faire quelque chose de différent.
Just say they're racist, you see. Like, I know, like, whatever you're doing, you see, but I've never heard someone saying, ما نحبش شعر بوغلي بس نحب شعر sample. See what I mean? It's like, just say they're being racist, you see. Like, just say they're being racist towards you. Why are you, like, sugarcoating it and, like, spinning it into, like, this better version, you see? Just so you don't say, like, people in Algeria are racist. And I'm not saying all Algerians are racist or most Algerians are racist. But it's like, just be honest with it, you see. Like, why are you, like, spinning the truth into something like less controversial, you say? So it's like, for me, I feel like Dankote, she wants to be fully out there and fully like herself and shit, too. And then at the same time, like, instead of like speaking truth and speaking facts, she's just like backpedaling and like trying to appease the masses. So that's where I was like, oh, like, so you can't even do that, you see? Because at the very least, she can be like an interesting representation for people. But not even that, is it? Like, she's just like, oh, you know, Algeria, I love them, they're so sweet to me. Like, even though like they harass her. But I feel like I don't want to only like talk about negative traits about her personality. Something good is that like later on in life on TikTok too, she kind of, you know, like alluded to the قبل التحلاب too, because she knows it's part of her label.
داليا شيح طايحة علينا زعما على مود واللوك. شفناك كنتي زمان تحلبتي داليا.
قاعد تحلبنا.
And you know, she made fun of it too, so I feel like with time she was able to like laugh it off a little bit and maybe like get something out of it, I guess. I hope she's doing okay. I know I was a little bit like, you know, like rough on her by towards the end of the video, but I just feel like if you want to talk about why someone didn't succeed, you can't just not talk about the real reasons, their personality, their music, their discography, the way they think, the way they present themselves, you see what I mean? So I'm sorry if I was like a little bit rough on her, but it's just what it is. At this point in time in her career, I don't know where she stands, you see. Do I think she's gonna succeed? Honestly, I don't. I don't think like within like the next couple of years we're gonna see her like be a big break and like succeed and be very successful. I don't see it for her, you see. I could be wrong. I would be happy to be wrong. I hope she succeeds, but I don't think it's gonna happen. I think for one, like her debut was so bad that it would be very hard to like pivot from that. And it's been so many years that I don't think she's able to really reach those highs. You see what I mean? That she was able to back in the day. And I think also like a lot of people really don't care anymore. And at the same time, I think that her personality and her character really work against her, because I feel like the people who are gonna like her and support her for who she is really don't like that kind of personality, you see. So it's like she's in contradiction with what she wants, you see. So I feel like with everything working kind of against her, I really don't see it for her. But at the same time, like if she makes good music and people really enjoy it, I'm sure she can get there eventually. But when you see her speak about her career and say that she thinks she's doing great,
تقدمك في الكارير تاعك
التقدم تاعي
من 2012 لليوم.
من 2012 اليوم نقدر نقول 8 ميم سي مازال encore نزيد نروح بعيد ان شاء الله.
ان شاء الله بيان سور.
بالخدمة ان شاء الله. Mais aussi parce que j'ai voyagé partout. الصوت تاعي داني partout dans le monde.
I think I'm not sure. You see, I'm not sure like what that means. Like, am I in the wrong and thinking she's not successful in the sense compared to what she could have been? Or like she's delusional, you see? Like, I'm not sure which one of us is in the wrong here, you see? At the same time, like she ranked her career as an 8 out of 10. I personally would rank it like 7, 6, you see? Like, I think it's still good. I think she's still successful. I'm sure she made money off of it and she got to tour the world and her songs have millions of views. But at the same time, like, and for me, it's like 6 or 7 because compared to what she could have been, like, she could have been like a superstar, you see. And I feel like she's pretty content with her career as it is now. I'm sure she wants more, but she looks pretty content with what it is now. So I hope she's happy with it. And I hope she manages to reach those highs. And honestly, I feel like something that could really help her career is really like dabbling more into the persona that Dalia Chih is, you see. Like, truly the extravagance and the wildness that it is, you see, and really like tap into like the meme culture that it is and like make music that people would actually want to listen to. I feel like if she marketed herself in a more intense way, in a more like internet way, she could really like get there. But I don't know if she ever will. And I think that the more time passes, the less likely it is that it's gonna happen for her, and the less likely it is that she's gonna succeed. I hope she does though. I don't hate her. I don't think she's a bad person. I don't think her music is like the worst thing in the world. Insert clip of me here saying that it's the worst thing in the world. Overall, I feel like this video ended on a sad note. Sorry. Usually I try to make like the ending somewhat positive. Not today. But either way, I hope you enjoyed the video. Leave your comments down below if you have like specific opinions on Dalia Chih or other artists or people you want me to talk about. And other than that, like please keep it respectful. Anyways, deuces.